super weak in the early game. Let's see if it's gonna pay off as once again we'll welcome you ladies and gentlemen to the land of dawn. And here it is. Finally we get to see the classical derby on such different terms unfold before our very eyes. Naomi actually, he's gonna clear this mid side.
Ooh, potentially trying to go for a faster
Banana, yeah, banana
Okay.
sort of, okay.
Paquito jungle. All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, let us know your thoughts on the drafts because we're going straight into game number 2, potentially the last game of this classic derby. RRQ, they're backed in a corner. Will they be able to crawl themselves out and force a game number 3?
To the start again, Arashi, Skylar in the mid lane, clearing it out, and then going to the gold lane.
All right, well, that is certainly something that is going to be seen a lot more right now. He loses on 1 minion right here, but Naomi is coming in a 2v2. They don't really win out in the early game, so they got to be a bit careful. Tyler gets hooked in here, takes half his HP bar in damage, but look at that, in the emblems, weapon mastery still for both, and Skylar with the Swift for a bit more attack speed. That's going to be very beneficial in the lane.
Oh, good damage from Hujume, my goodness. Wins out the trade in a pretty significant way. Oh, Iron Hook getting thrown out. Clay able to dodge that one.
All right. Looking back at the emblems and the talents, I found that Hijume's choice was a little bit peculiar. Weapon Master Agility. And he goes in for the Mage base emblem for the Valentina. It's very interesting. I guess he's going for more cooldown, but there's not a lot of damage involved in there. Ooh. Maybe he's looking for a little bit more utility. That's something that we can expect him to go for later on in these pickups or even potentially the team fights. In terms of equipment, though, not much has been bought so far.
So far, just components. And the steel leg plates being built by Skylar makes a bit of sense going up against a Brody. Right now, though, I think... Oh, whoa! Out of nowhere, Fairsick knocks Hijume out.
Good read on the rotation.
What was that? Came out of nowhere. That's that rupture and the lethal ignition emblem even. Fairsick is just going all in aggressive right here. And this might be what they need, right? Because earlier Fairsick was just stuck being a bit more reactive on the Paquito. Maybe he can be doing exactly what Taz was doing in game number 1.
Exactly. It's crazy because Hijume also didn't opt for tenacity, so there's not a lot of defense in the early games that can severely be punished. And he kind of was forced to be on the Weapon Master in a way because they opted for the Brody. They need a little bit more insurance in the late game if it does come down to it. But it looks like this is a 1v all here for Arashi.
Deja vu. When have I seen this prediction before? RRQ,
it's okay,
though,
the kingdom loves you. They're all staring at you.
They certainly are.
What it is, man. I mean, it's no secret. It's no secret. But I do think they have potential, though, right?
Yeah.
Their draft is a lot more well-rounded compared to previously. And now Taz gets kicked.
Where the dragon beautifully done by Naomi into the Renner's apathy. Iron Hook not connecting. If it did, Clay still had Purify anyways. EVOS Legends caught lacking in the first few minutes of the game. And even in the mid lane, Hijume loses a chunk of his HP.
But the real scare right here is the fact that the longer the game goes, there's more chances for these hooks to just land on someone. And I think it's important to try and condition dreams from early on in the game, right? If he keeps predicting that you would go backwards, you have to read into how he's going to predict your movement and apply that, which is an extra layer of thought in the middle of your game. But there, they burned his flicker, so for a while at least, they can rest quite easy.
For sure, but the question is there enough damage to follow that up just yet, right? Because even if, let's say, he lands on a hook, there's not enough combo in the composition that EVOS have brought. He's not with a Farsa, he's with something like Valentina, who's not exactly bursty in that sense, but wait a minute, Banana forces that ultimate here just to get away.
Oh, defensive last insanity with the last second dash as well from losing that Firaga armor. Dreams didn't account for that, and RRQ are just taking the lead. 2,000 gold lead now already. Naomi looking for the way. The dragon goes over to Jikundo first, now kicks him back. The brand is able to flick around for the airstrike, responded over. Bennett's rage to go on the Angel Man. Torn apart memory though, connects. That's a good side step from Clay, with the Purify used up as well.
Wow. It's counter play by EVOS, and that is timed perfectly for the turtle as well. RRQ, they're gonna lose out here. unless Fersic wants to try and do something, that might put them way too behind though, so they probably let it go, which is a bit of an improvement. Because usually RRQ, one of their signature trademark moves is losing one member and then trying to outplay for V5. Showing a bit of maturity, a bit of discipline right here. Letting go the turtle and going back to the initial game plan. Looking for more pickoffs.
Yeah, and technically RRQ, Fersic has a level ahead of Taz earlier on. Now they're both at 8, but that was because after that turtle take that leveled it out. But here you go, the hook!
Bloody Hunt coming down, not enough damage to take him out. It's actually Dreams who gets punished. Naomi with a very good escape, disengage, and now RRQ set their sights on that tier 1 in the gold lane. The Beer's Passion stolen away. Brand's trying to clear out the waves now. Hijime going back in, able to zone RRQ away from the turret. And EVOS Legends have defended quite well for their tier 1.
That's what's going to happen whenever EVOS engages with the Franco when the Tarizla and the Bane isn't in the building. Right? Because there's no one to prevent everyone else from just barreling onto the Franco and turning it on him instead.
And now Versik and Clay. The punish is absolutely phenomenal from RRQ. Understanding what to go for here. And that's a mid lane tier 1. Even more value than the top lane tier 1. Dreams gets sniped down. Bottom lane, there's an attempt of a trade. But EVOS Legends have lost out completely in this one.
Yeah, 1,700 gold lead already here built in by RRQ. The fact that they've been able to get a lot more objectives on the map. Those two turrets, in that mid lane, that is going to signify that they have a little bit more room to work around in these rotations. And you can see it being translated here. Already some promise here in the top side, but they have to be careful. Look at the rotations from Hijime, Fluffy, and Brands. They're all the way in the top side. They're looking for something here. They're looking to trade things back.
They get spotted though. That's what we're talking about. If they want to engage, they need everyone in, to be part of the party. Oh, right here for RRQ, it's just a great situation, and they're taking away all of the objectives. But now control over the turtle area is held by EVOS, and they're bursting it down.
Lovely catch used up. Taz secures it. Naomi with the conceal. G2 able to find only Dreams though. Cancelled out. Naomi now taken very low, still able to escape. Fluffy in the back. Oh, what? Brands with a fadeaway. Iron Hook now coming down. Bloody Hunt locking Banana as the turret falls up top. But EVOS have taken a turtle and 2 members of RRQ down.
That is unfortunate for sure. RRQ, they landed the Jeet Kundo onto Brands, but they were unable to get the way of the dragon. And I was just saying, Naomi, he was doing a great job just avoiding sitting in default locations in the bush, switching it up so that Dreams doesn't get any easy hooks. But with that sequence of plays, one turret finally gets taken by EVOS Legends. RRQ, they are losing the early game advantage, and in the late game, it's a bit more of a 50-50. It's not a guaranteed win for either side, I believe.
Do you not think, with RRQ having Clay as well as Skylar in comparison to Brands?
Well, there's the Valentina and the Bane, though. Those two heroes in the late game, on top of the fact that they have a more reliable engage or a more spammable engage with the Iron Hook, I think makes it quite dead even. It all will come down to the execution. And in game number 1, EVOS got the better of RRQ. So let's take a look at a bit of the items. Malefic Roar and Hunter Strike for Fersic means that any squishy heroes unfortunate enough to be in front of him will get instantly deleted.
Don't forget, Arashi, the more reliable way to deal damage. I think EVOS Legends has that in the later stage of the game. They have proper dive to penetrate or to distract RRQ's back line. For Skylar and Clay, they're going to have to work some overtime here to evade from all the CC coming their way. Fluffy, Hijime, and Dreams, they're all going to be looking for the back line. Naomi, ooh, flicker from Hijime up top, tier 1 taken out. And EVOS Legends have equalized in the objective department, only now lacking a mid lane tier 1.
Literally, the gold has dissipated. That gold lead, only 800 here, with Taz picking up the BOD on top of it, so a little bit more damage for him to work with. One of the one things that I really wanted to talk about was Banana's build. He goes in for the Ice Queen wand early, instead of going for something that gives him a little bit more sustainability or even the Immortal.
Well, the Ice Queen one right now gives a bit of spell lifesteal, so it helps him in that area. And technically with the Brave Smite, he can be a bit more sustainable. And the idea of this X-Borg is just for him to just kite back again and again. But with Fluffy already in the building, the backline can't be safe at all.
Menace Rage coming down. Fluffy though with the penalty zone locking. Skylar out. Last Insanity now coming down. Able to dish out some damage. Brands with a torn apart memory. Taking them low, but no, not taking anyone out. Clay very low. RRQ, even though they have more members, they don't have enough HP bars. They don't have enough resources to contest for this. Some of their members already recalling. No banana for the next fight. EVOS Legends decide to disengage and to look for turrets instead.
Ooh, very disciplined for both of these teams. No one really forcing the issue here. Naomi gets chunked just a little bit by the damage coming out from Hijume, but in that regard, it feels like EVOS Legends got the upper hand. They trade a hero for a turret, something that's permanent. And whoa.
Fancy.
Calm down, Dreams, calm down.
And Clay used the Purify though. It didn't connect, but Clay used the Purify. That's a big resource. Now Fluffy has a better entrance into the team fight.
And look at the bottom side on the EXP lane. The wave is stacking to try and push towards RRQ. The minion equilibrium just favoring EVOS at every turn. RRQ needs to make something happen or back away right now.
Deadly catch used up. Naomi trying to go for the kick, but it's already too late. Taz still secures it. Meanwhile, Fluffy in the back still able to sustain. Meanwhile, Naomi gonna be chunked down, taken out by Brands. 1-for-1. Roamer for XP. RRQ gonna go trade into me with a jump forward to take Clay down. Out Taz once again with a bounce. Banana with a flicker out. Dreams looking for that iron hook. Gets punished by the Bennett's Rage. Taz is looking for a turret, but they've already gone the Lord.
No way, 2 members taken out. Taz gonna use the deadly catch to get that damage onto the turret, and that turret will fall. 2,000 gold lead here for EVOS Legends as they completely turn it around with that team fight. And the Lord is still marching on the top side. There's gonna be more things falling down here for EVOS if RRQ don't have a say in what happens next.
On a silver lining though, they do have a lot more high ground, the Beatrix and the Farsa. Wow, that was very, very close. But they can defend this quite reliably, but they can't keep losing teamfights like this. The Terizla and the Brody combo is just way too annoying. They will be able to clear out the Lord and defend their base turrets, but for how long? The jungle just falls victim to the clutches of EVOS. The Tigers strike back.
Slow down the pace is what EVOS Legends wants to do. The way they're taking this game has been very different to game number 1. Game number 1, very slow start. Even in the mid game, it was RRQ making the moves, but now, EVOS Legends, now you can really see that they are no longer that slow starter team that just gets ahead in the later stage. No, now they have a better understanding of the game, of their composition, of when the power spikes hit. Right as the mid-game power spike hit, EVOS Legends started to be more proactive, started to punish RRQ, where they overextend.
Right now,
I'm interested because, sorry to cut you off there, Arashi, that Feather Airstrike, it didn't deal too much damage despite already having that Clock of Destiny and that Lightning Truncheon. It barely touched Hijume. How is that possible?
well, I think with the Lightning Truncheon, I think it did okay amount of damage. It's just not as much as we're used to, but look at that, Banana.
Ultifi! 3-man penalty zone, and all the resources have just been used by RRQ to disengage. Purify already used up by Clay again. Big resource spent up. Dreams has the flicker. Naomi trying to run. Ooh, very close with that iron hook. I think it's because there's no penetration yet. No Genius Wand, no Divine Glaive, and for most of EVOS Legends' members, they have tough boots. No, Rashi?
They have a lot of tough boots for sure, knowing that there's a lot of crowd control. Pick-off attempts gonna be heading their way. But for EVOS right now, the real hero of the story is Fluffy on the Terizla, man. Every time, he just blocks everyone away, and that allows Brands to just get free hits again and again. 3-0 and 1, he is essentially untouched in the middle of the fight. Even with the true damage coming in from the X-Borg, it's not nearly enough to deal with how tanky Fluffy gets. Especially the lower he gets, right? Without any burst damage, it's going to be way too difficult.
You're right here. EVOS, though, still holding that 2,800 gold lead so far. And interesting, thank you for pointing that out. So Brody built tenacity in his talent choice, so that's why he's a little bit more sustainable going against the damage from play without the penetration items. That makes sense. And with that, does RRQ have what it takes to win this 5v5 Lord Dance?
They have to skip Fluffy and go straight for Brands or Hijume or Taz at this point. There's no way.
Oh!
Oof.
No Purify.
Purify. Fortunately still available, but again, they cannot, there's no way they can both and still win the fight afterwards. They need to just ignore him and find ways to get to the back line. With the wave pushing for the side of RRQ in the bottom side, this could be the opportunity that they need. EVOS, though, recognizes that and they're going for something aggressive.
Naomi's looking for a pick right now. Has a G Kundo. Taz going for 50-50. It's Skylar who steals it away. The torn part memory was used up, but Skylar's still free hitting in the back. Jermaine now in the midst of it all. Banana taken low. Flickers out to safety. Dreams wants to go for the iron hook, but Skylar knows the limits. He flickers out of it. And RRQ, they've taken a big dub. 1 kill, 1 Lord.
Wow, man, that's just so clean from RRQ. And you saw the Skylar. Most gold in the game right here by UBS Gold.
Ooh.
He was able to just use a preemptive Nibiru's passion to just zone everyone from EVOS away. It almost took out Taz, but Taz, again, showing great awareness in the middle of all the heat of battle. He was able to just step back and, you know, reestablish themselves. Now, against a Lord, RRQ, they have range, but EVOS can't cancel it out. So it's all about the mind games here. Who does what first?
We'll see who does what first here as Naomi goes in for a pickoff onto Fluffy.
But it's Rage Ray the Dragon locking him down. 1 member out before anything begun. Now Naomi loses immortality. Still value for RRQ to have the enhanced Lord. Oof, with no frontliner. This will definitely help and benefit the Kings of Kings, who are now taken down to Tier 2 in the mid lane. Tier 2 in the bottom should follow next, but EVOS Legends should be able to keep these base turrets up.
They have control right here. But the question is, what can they do with it? If they wait for the next Lord, it's going to be the same story, sort of, again and again. But now with both teams reduced to just the base turrets, this means that the whole area of the Land of Dawn is available for a cat and mouse game, a chase between the Tigers and the Kings of Kings. In that sense, it really does favor RRQ with more mobility that can kite back away and, you know, move back and forth, whereas EVOS, they're very reliant on getting a really decisive engage, especially with the penalty zone.
And now the tension begins. That gold lead is gone from both of these teams. Things have equalized the number of turrets, 3 inhibitor standing for both of these teams. If we take a look at the items, there is a little bit of a lead from Skylar, but at this point, it seems like Brands only needs a little bit more to get that Athena shield, which is what he was going for. A little bit more sustain in these team fights, especially with Clay's damage and his penetration item in the Divine Glaive already built up as well.
I feel like initially, RRQ, they're going to play for a front-to-back composition, right? Very good long-range damage and solid front line. But at this point, I feel like the better bet for them is to just make sure that the penalty zone does not land on multiple people. If they can get to the back line, there's no way Brands can match the damage output of Skylar, for example. And Hijime, unless he steals the Feather Airstrike, can't match the damage output of Clay as well. So for RRQ, the messier the fight gets, actually, they do have a bit more value in that sense.
They're also outranged. The RRQ can poke them down, slowly but surely. Feathered Airstrike renders apathy. Naomi with the conceal knows Brands is there. But look at Dreams and Hijime. A good splash to cancel out the conceal play.
No way!
Oh, no way! But Skylar Dreams! Wow! EVOS Legends, you count them out, and that's when they make the plays happen. Out of all the members who clumped up, how did he find Skylar, the Indonesian nightmare?
I saw it. Skylar was trailing behind everyone else, which is why I screamed, no way, before it hit, and it did. EVOS Legends coming back, taking out the main damage leader from RRQ. This is truly a huge moment here as they completely turn the tables around once again.
Skylar just not respecting the fact that Dreams has his signature hero, the Franco, in his hands. That was really unfortunate. Let's take a look at the instant replay by the Samsung Galaxy S23 series. Look at that. He was the last guy in the back. Oh. That cannot happen, man. Against a Franco, you need someone there, or you need to just dash out or do something. There's no way you can expect him to just watch your back and back away. But look at this Lord pushing in the mid side.
Spectacular defense from the Kings of Kings. Now Banana trying to burn Fluffy back, trying to zone him away. Hijime doing the same thing, but to RRQ. Mid lane base turret taken low with the bottom lane as well, but RRQ are still able to micromanage. They have a very good high ground wave clear.
Wow, they don't penetrate at all. 3 lanes are still going to be crashing here. Mid is going to come down first. Are they going to get it with a deadly catch? There's a little bit more damage. But no, it doesn't fall.
Oh, look, Banana. He was able to hold on to the mini waves. Now
Oh,
Last
no.
Insanity coming down. Brands should be taken out with a flicker as well. Brands, he buys the immortality right in time here. He's able to survive for a bit. Banana still gunning him down. Sort of our memory going to be used up right now, but Brands will lose his life. Fluffy finds a 4-man penalty zone, but that will be it. No further engagement for both EVOS and RRQ. But there's 2 members down for the Tigers, and the RRQ Kingdom are now chanting Viva RRQ.
30 seconds for RRQ to try and make something happen, but they're stuck on damage control. The Lord won't be up for a long time after this. Seems like RRQ are trying to go for the top turret as much as possible, but I don't think they can do it against a Bane, against a Valentina. This might just be a great moment that results in not much. The mid wave is pushing though. We'll see if RRQ maybe can orchestrate some kind of dive. Oh, look at the truncheon.
That's a mistake. Taz now brought back to the team. He buys the immortality in time, but is it going to be enough to save this game? Taz taken out. Immortality. Oh, good hook there onto Fersing. Takes his life out. Feather Airstrike comes down, and despite Taz's big mistake, it's still EVOS Legends coming back on top. When the nature built up. Dreams loses the immortality to the burn. Wow.
Wow, just mistakes back and forth shows you again the stakes, the pressure that both these teams are facing right now. With 2 base turrets down, without the range advantage, RRQ, they might have just secured the exact lead they needed for the next Lord. Keep in mind, 20 seconds, when the Lord is up, Taz will be on the way from the base. So RRQ, they can count on the 5v4 engagement and deny EVOS the setup they so desperately need right now.
But the problem is both of these teams, they don't have their jungler. Right, Taz is going to be up in just a little bit, but so is Fersing. Fersing on the Pigito should be able to rotate quick as well. It's going to come back down to that 50-50 once again between both of these teams. How are they going to set up first? How are they going to control and do their housekeeping better than the other? With Valentina already pushing in that top side, RRQ, they're going to be forced to deal with that for now. Bane, Taz already trying to clear out that bottom lane as well. Trying to get a little bit more pressure as Dreams looks for some more information alongside with Fluffy. The tension is building between both of these teams. There's a reason why they call this matchup the El Clasico, or now the Classical Derby. EVOS and RRQ, look at the way that they are posturing one another. Look at Naomi. Look at where Bronze and Skylar is too.
Just a difference in posturing, difference in formation, and when to set up the traps. It's dangerous for both teams, but at this point, there's no way you can get high benefit without high risk. You can see that Skylar exposes himself in the mid lane. The top lane, by the way, is slow pushing in favor of RRQ. If they can just stall long enough, EVOS will be forced to send someone to respond. It might be Fluffy. That might be the pickup they're going for.
Oh, it gets cancelled out though. That stun from Brands. Now Naomi is concealed. No! Iron Hook brings him back. The Torn Apart memory used up. Naomi loses immortality. Deadly Catch coming out with a penalty zone as well. The zone Banana for the airstrike now onto the back. But now it's going to be Banana, or Fersing rather, who's able to stun him up, who's able to disengage. RRQ survived the onslaught of claws, of roars. But EVOS Legends have ultimately won in this Lord pit, and they will go at it on the Lord.
It was so unfortunate, RRQ, that Naomi messed up that engage. The fact that they were able to outmaneuver and outplay it. That was close. Hijime was not supposed to get that Lord. Luckily, it was still for EVOS. But, oh man, my heart dropped a little bit, and I can hear the gas in the venue as well.
That retry, yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Well, it was Hijime who got it. But yeah, that definitely looked very scary. I think Fersing was the one who retried.
Fersing?
Look at the cooldowns.
Well, early there, I don't think he was close enough, but maybe it was. I mean, the high mobility of RRQ, that was a risky call for EVOS, but they gambled on it, and it did pay off. Now with the Lord, can they just break through the high ground? They need to find a way to get to the back line. If Fluffy now, without the flicker, can reach Clay, can reach Skylar, this could be the exact moment where the game gets decided. The hook does not land, the airstrike gets used up.
They're not grouping up with the Lord right now. The Vault Lord has been dealt with. The Kings of Kings are still holding on to this game. 3.4k gold lead, 23 minutes in. The Classic Derby will never disappoint.
23 minutes, man. We're almost at a 25-minute game between both of these teams. Unfortunately, those waves didn't pop off at the right time together. It didn't hit at the right time. RQ still able to defend. But now, with that top lane, it looks like they're going to go for more.
Oh, he finds Clay. No Purify now.
Naomi
in the back. Naomi! With the way of the dragon onto Braz. Fluffy with the penalty zone in the front right now, forcing the winner truncheon away. Fluffy now caught all alone, but is still able to walk out. No brands for EVOS Legends. RRQ, they've got a good trade in.
60 seconds, 55, 50 right now for brands to be back on the map. This is a huge window for RRQ to get control, set up traps, set up the minion waves, because if you look at the base turrets, unfortunately for RRQ, it really favors EVOS because the bottom lane, the EXP lane, is where the wave is going to continually shove for EVOS, and the Lord is on the top side. It's very convenient for them. RRQ, if they want to bank on the next Lord, they need to try and set this up somehow, some way, so that it pushes towards EVOS instead. The banana though.
That might be it, man. Banana, forced to flicker out. He doesn't have the immortality. Deadly Catch coming down with a Feather Airstrike as well. No flicker on Banana. That's a massive resource. That's one of the resources that gave them the opportunity to take brands out. Remember, that was a chance for RRQ to go for it, but now it has disappeared. It's now back to another 50-50.
Yeah, Brands is going to be back in just a moment. At the real-time win probability by the Samsung Galaxy S23 Series 5G does favor RRQ by 66%, but it couldn't be more even. There's definitely a lot more to work with for RRQ because of the fact that Arashi mentioned about that bottom side of pushing, and it really comes back down to that resource allocation. We saw that Taz utilize his Deadly Catch for damage onto the towers. So when RRQ go for an engage, like we saw Naomi do, there wasn't much room for them to stave off that pressure. Hence, Brands getting picked off first. Hopefully, that Taz can hold on to it just a little bit more for it to be a little bit more valuable in these team fights.
Look at RRQ and how many people they are forced to send down there just in case EVOS is waiting. With Banana spotting out multiple members of EVOS, they find the confidence to move over to the mid lane. They're pushing it right now, and they're the ones aggressing EVOS. They're backing away from this, but at the same time, they're just letting RRQ get, overconfident, move forward into that Iron Hook. That is what they're waiting for. Dreams has been absolutely lethal with this spell, and they are just counting on that to just change the game again and again. It has worked so far, it will work again for them.
Hopefully, because Naomi's been a constant threat as well. The way that he's able to flank, find those moments has been so expensive. But it looks like they are going to be retreating. They want to control that bottom lane first. Very similar to how you described it, Arashi. It's going exactly the way that you mentioned. But still, do they know where Naomi is?
I don't think they do. Not yet. But for EVOS Legends, fortunately for them, this fight is going to be good for them. They have the top side. The far lane is where RRQ does not have a base turret, and that's always going to be slow pushing, so it gives EVOS Legends a bit of an advantage in this side to contest the Lord. That's why you've been seeing Naomi constantly just acting as a bodyguard for Skylar.
But at the same time, if he can actually get a pick off right here away of the dragon, that's still essentially the same combo with the Franco, right? A suppression into a full burst. They see Skylar in the bottom side right here, but they don't have the confidence yet to just go for the Lord. With so much at stake right here. 27 minutes! My god! Finally, you can see that there's a wave advantage for RRQ. They're trying to get advantage with it. Naomi almost gets hooked though.
It's all about that bottom lane, how they play the far lane. Look at Hijume's control over it. He doesn't clear it instantly. He knows that the wave will build up to RRQ. EVOS Legends now, their job is, wow, Naomi, clean sidesteps. But for EVOS, they're just going to take it slow. As long as they stop RRQ from forcing it, I think EVOS Legends will win.
So close though.
This is the problem, man. They're just waiting for the hook to land. And whereas for Naomi, there's no way you can go in like that.
I think Fluffy's going for something though, Arashi.
Might be. He's just trying to make sure he gets some kind of vision, some kind of intelligence on that Lord. Gets it reset as well. Both just doing a great Lord dance right here. And you can see that for Clay and Skylar, the threat of the Iron Hook is making them so reluctant to move up to try and do some poke damage. So even though they have the range advantage right here, EVOS, they're still the ones with, the aggressing posture. Naomi is still being in this bush for so long. Not a single Iron Hook has landed, but at any moment, the moment that hook lands, that could spell the end for this 29-minute game.
Yeah, it's a ticking time bomb, ladies and gentlemen. Savor the tension between both of these teams is going to come back down to judgment, discipline, as well as patience. If they go for a wrong engage, that could serve as the end for their team. And like you see there, it's Beatrix forcing to go for an engage, and they see it!
Skylar's in the bottom lane, that's why they go for it. Banana has lost his Firaga armor. And again, the ball is in EVOS Legends' court. They can play as long as they want to, because that bottom lane, that far lane, will have to be cleared out by RRQ. Now they're gonna go in. They know the export has recalled. They know this is the time to strike. Iron Hawk from Dreams! Right onto Naomi with the penalty zone to zone him away. Naomi's still able to survive. Deadly Catch used up. A lot of resources burnt. Bottom lane still slow pushing. EVOS Legends reset. Conceal from RRQ. They're mirroring sides. Mid lane now the focus for RRQ. They're looking for a chance, a way, an opening back in the game.
Oh no, Forsic!
Fluffy brought back to the team, by the way, the Dragon as well, connecting now. Banana gets hooked. Fluffy buys the Winter Truncheon, activates it here, but he will lose his life. Fluffy gunned down. Banana able to escape with the Firaga armor, burst it down. Bottom wave still pushing in. 1 for 0. RQ!
Ooh, my heart dropped just a little bit. That almost connected onto Naomi. But again, this is gonna give RQ a huge advantage. Still 60 seconds left on the clock for Fluffy. There's no source of S-gauge, but that hook nearly lands onto Skylar. It's too intense. Mirko Arashi. Naomi just needs one opportunity, one more. But even without that RQ, they have the space!
Dreams with the bloody hunt. No damage coming down, only the Deadly Catch there to help him. Not enough to take Naomi down. Naomi has produced a miracle for RRQ. These pickoffs, these sidesteps. Another Iron Hook onto Banana. He has the Firaga armor. He's not at risk. Tournament memory used up. Banana escapes from it. That death onto Fluffy has given RRQ the Evolved Lord. 31 minutes in. Can EVOS Legends defend?
A fact that we haven't been mentioning is the fact that RRQ, they were resetting the Lord every time someone was sent over to clear the far side of the map. That was just so good, and they played around Banana's Firaga armor so perfectly. With the Lord right now, this is a make or break situation, man. EVOS, they have damage, but if they focus too much on the Lord, Naomi is looking for an opportunity, waiting in the wings for something to happen.
Naomi's dangerous. RQ have the range as well. Can EVOS defend this? They need to count on Taz as well with a Deadly Catch. Let's hope that it's enough.
Fluffy's holding in the front right now, still able to sustain for now. Tournament memory going to be used up. Then it's Rage coming down as well with a Deadly Catch. They're trying to stop the waves from crashing into the base. Fluffy now taking very low, passing the Winter Truncheon. In the back is for the airstrike coming down, and it should just be an equalizer here. Dreams getting gunned down. Banana with the last insanity. RRQ 1-1.
RRQ force a game number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, and this is what